How's it going, everyone? Mobby Nerd here, and today we got Guilty Gear Strive on the screen. Now, I'd like to give my honest opinion on this game from a casual player's perspective. So here's the experiment. I forced myself to play the game consecutively for a number of days since it came out, mostly to answer two questions. One, would I still have fun playing the game online even if I don't ever fully grasp the game's mechanics? Or two, would I at the very least get better at the game over time? For anyone that knows me, I've never really gone that deep into fighting games. I've always enjoyed them on a surface level. In other words, I am a button masher. I've never been able to pull off actual combo chains. I've never been able to remember certain command prompts in games. None of that stuff. I'm just an unga bunga, press buttons and hope I win type of player. I barely even win online, to be honest. So let's get into it. This is basically day one. So my plan is to just play the tutorial and trust a game to teach me how to play it on its own merits. If I go through the tutorial, will I be armed with enough knowledge to hold my own online? Guess we're gonna find out. So as you can see, I'm clearly struggling to understand these inputs as Mei, which is really funny because I'm looking at one of the moves and it's literally just the dolphin, which is the easiest move for her to do, and I just did not understand it. And it's really funny, and this brings me to a point. I actually never fully understood that until I watched the video that went with the move set. And I wish more fighting games did this. The fact that there are videos included with the move list is phenomenal. It makes learning it so much easier and gives you a better understanding of when you're supposed to do stuff. So now I know when to use moves and what they're used for, but that doesn't mean squat if I can't successfully pull off the inputs. So day one, my first night with the game, I just did the tutorial and nothing else. Day two, I figured I should try my luck and just take the game online and see what happens. I primarily played as Mei for most of this because Mei was my favorite character on Xrd, so that's literally the only reason. On stream, I was playing a few friendly rounds with a buddy of mine who'd also just picked up Strive but has a much more extensive knowledge of fighting games than I do. He plays them more consistently and understands combos and button prompts. I do not. But in this fight, I had the distinct advantage of knowing that he didn't really fully know the character he was playing as yet either, so I'd say we were pretty evenly matched here. The fights with my friend on day two really made me realize that I still did not understand button prompts, so I literally took the rest of that night just to sit in practice mode and just force myself to continuously do certain moves until it was burned into my brain. This was all I did that night. And again, here's where I really came to appreciate the fact that this game has actual videos alongside the move list. I honestly think that the inclusion of those videos helped me pick up the command prompts way faster than I would have without them. Rolling into day three, I've been playing matches online and I'm starting to get a little more confident in fighting strangers. So all of day three, I really just kept going online and just fighting whoever I could around my skill level to see if I got better or worse. One thing worth noting at this point, I primarily played as Mei for about 3 days straight, so by now I fully understood her move list, but I still did not master pulling off command prompts. So I knew what I wanted to do in certain situations, but I'd still flub it and mess up most of the time. But it wasn't really frustrating. I was still enjoying myself in pretty much all the matchups I had. In fact, a lot of them were still incredibly close. And I feel like that has a lot to do with Guilty Gear Strive's system for matchmaking. It does an amazing job of matching you with an opponent who's still very much around your skill level, so I felt like most of the matchups I ended up in were still pretty fair. Suffice to say, I didn't take home any W's that night. By the fourth day, I'd grown way more confident with my character and I just honestly was genuinely enjoying the game. Even though I lost more matches than I won, I did notice that I started to win more matches, and the matchups got even closer each round. Not to say the one-sided matchups didn't happen, they did, but most of the time when I lost, I didn't really feel like I was that far off. Like I felt like I could feasibly beat them if I just, nailed my command prompt. Something that I still, at this point, kind of suck at doing, but I'm not nearly as bad as I was around day one or day two. Day six, I did something stupid. I stepped out of my comfort zone and tried a completely different character. Probably the worst character to try out if you're just messing around, and it's Zato 1. But the strangest thing happened. I actually found myself winning more rounds as Zato than I ever did as Mei. And though he's a more complicated character to master, I found it really rewarding when I could successfully pull off some of those moves in a fight. As the days went on, I'd experiment a bit more and I'd find that I liked playing as characters like Milia, Zato, and Mei. And after a while, sure enough, I got to a point where I can safely say I'm just comfortable playing the game. Like, I'm not great, but I'm not the worst either. And if there's anything to take away, it's this. Just play the game. Don't worry about being too casual or worry about online matches being incredibly one-sided. Just play the game. Yeah, you'll lose at first, but guess what? If you keep sticking with it, you're gonna start winning. Oh! Or at the very least, you'll start to pick up mechanics and learn the ins and outs of a character and have fun doing it. That's it. That's my takeaway. Guilty Gear Strive is one of the first fighting games that I've been able to just force myself to play consecutively, and I've actually learned just enough. And if I played it more, I feel like I would get even further. And I think the same could be said with any fighting game, but Strive just really kind of streamlined that process and made it so much easier. But anyways, this video's gone on long enough. This was a really dumb experiment, I know. So thank you for making it this far into the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If not, that's cool. Thank you for making it this far anyways. I'm Mobby Nerd, and I'll see you in the next video. Your